I just made breakfast, but I need to eat it really quickly because I have a meeting at 9:30 and it's already 9:20. But I believe I can do it. I just finished that meeting and I'm going to Uber to the office. Let's go. I realized that my time truly is limited. I used to have this weird feeling that I can do whatever I want and I will always win the time. But okay, a couple of scenarios where I realized this is not the case. First, yesterday we had team dinner till 8-ish and then I arrived at the gym at 8:30 and I had to really rush my workout and it didn't feel good. So that's the first instance. Hello.
All right.
Yes. Thank you. And then the second instance of this was I promised myself that I would read every morning, but today I had a meeting at 9:30 and I just can't read anymore. But I hope to figure out a better way to kind of do all the stuff I want. I just need to pre-plan things better. Like yesterday, one thing I could have done better is I could have left the team dinner at around 7:30 so I would have time for training. But things like that, just keeping very conscious to myself that my time is limited and I need a certain minimum amount of time to do things like training and reading.
One thing I've been learning recently is how to scope out my realm of concern and then use that to guide priorities. What I mean by this is, for example, I see and pass by those union workers who are on strike every single day. Sometimes, if I choose not to scope them in to my attention span, I would simply ignore them. But whenever I remind myself that they are human beings just like me, I start to get curious and even empathetic about what they're going through. Similarly at work, to avoid going into a trap of just mindlessly tackling things on a to-do list, I keep reminding myself what is the main goal and why does this goal matter to me. That would help me scope out what are the things I should focus on versus ignore much better.
Just got off work and I'm going to the gym. I think today one very interesting thing was I called a customer for an interview and our customers are like pretty disadvantaged and just looking like for help, and it feels very different from people I usually talk to in my daily life, and I think it's a really valuable experience for me to learn to talk to people that are very different, show empathy and get the information that I need. I forgot my vlog camera in the changing room, but per viewer request, we're featuring on it. And I'm trying this candy.
Yeah, turron.
Turron?
Chile and turron.
Wow, I'm excited. I finally got back home at around like 8, I think. So I have time to eat dinner and now it's 8:30. And I'm going to write or maybe edit my vlogs later. And also read. But now I'm gonna watch YouTube because I'm eating. I basically just warmed up the leftover yesterday from the team dinner and made a salmon. I have many thoughts just now at the gym. I think at the gym my thoughts are like very activated, and I also don't really look on my phone in between sets, so I keep having interesting thoughts. For example, I was writing on my Substack about whether there's differences or even levels of people having self-reflection and understanding themselves and understanding the world. I still think there are, and I think a key theme that keeps emerging in the philosophy podcast I listen to is how to frame or understand people who adhere to certain external identities to give themselves meaning, or just in the pursuit of meaning, what is the right or a better way or a more autonomous and human specific way to pursue meaning. Because I was listening to this episode on Becker, and he's saying how everyone has this denial of death, and that prompts them to try to adhere to certain illusions. So things like identity given by a job, by a religion, etc. And people do evil because they realize that some of their illusions clash, and that is very damning because it reminds them of their mortality, and that's why they commit evil. I find that really interesting as a explanation, and I think the idea of wanting to adhere to certain divine things, not necessarily religion, but could be a set of identities, to not feel so fearful of death, is also echoed by people who want to take a certain script for life because of the fear of absolute freedom in existentialism. So I think overall, I'm just like, if I have to pick one trait in personal development that is a big distinguisher of people, would be how much they realize the amount of reliance of gaining meaning from sources that are like, you could draw axes of internal, external, or it could also be subconscious, like, or floating to the conscious level.
This is editing stone. I think maybe the axis would be better explained as examined versus unexamined.
But yeah, just my 2 cents, kind of not very structured, but I'm gonna write more in my this week's writing about this idea.